Joining me now is John Evans, the former U.S. Consul General in Saint Petersburg, Russia, from 1994 to 1997. And while you were there, you worked with Vladimir Putin. You're a former U.S. ambassador to Armenia. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Did President Trump, by casting doubt on the intelligence community's finding, slap them in the face?
I think it was very unusual what he has said, but I think there are a lot of nuances here. I mean, lots of intelligence agencies do lots of things all the time under the cover of secrecy. Lots of people hack. We hack. The Chinese hack. The Israelis hack. Everybody hacks. The question for me is what was...
I don't hack. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
The question, though, is what was done with the results of that hacking, and was there any American involvement in that?
President Putin said that he wanted President Trump to win, and he said, yes, I would respond to Mueller's investigation. Mm-hmm. Is Putin taking the issue more seriously than Trump?
Oh, I'm not sure we can make a comparison there, but I think it was no secret that not only President Putin, but most Russians who are politically aware, at least, did not care very much for Hillary Clinton. And so they, whether rightly or not, they certainly expressed a preference for Mr. Trump.
Some of the criticism is that he is meeting with a man who has slaughtered or been involved in, behind the scenes, the slaughter of 500,000 Syrians, who has invaded the Ukraine. And they are saying that, you know, this is a problem, and Putin is saying this is we are a democratic state. Is he trying to avert eyes from those issues?
Well, there are a lot of issues here, some of which are not completely proven. I think it depends very much more on Russian state interests than it does just on Mr. Putin. Now, I knew Mr. Putin quite well in St. Petersburg. I even had to ask him for help one time because some American investors had trouble with the mob. And he was very...
The Russian mob.
Russian mob.
Mm-hmm.
And Putin was very straight with me and very helpful. And he was not anti-American. He was not anti-Western. He was a Christian. I used to run into him in church at Easter time.
We have actually some pictures of that, of him in the Russian Orthodox Church.
Well, and just recently he went up to Varlam, which is a little shrine up in the north of Russia. He was there with some church people. So I think he truly is an Orthodox believer. He was not anti-Semitic. He was not a communist. He was not even homophobic, which is a frequent charge made. But this was Vladimir Putin in the 90s. Things can change, circumstances can change, but the main thing is Russian interests are now involved. We have our interests, they have their interests, and he's not our man. He's the president of Russia. So it's quite natural that we're not so happy with some things they're doing.
But my question really went to some of the draconian issues and alleged actions.
Well, take, for example, the murders that keep happening in Russia. They were happening before Putin became president.
But that doesn't mean anything. He's not stopping them.
Well, it's a big country, and there are a lot of people, just as ours is a big country. We don't blame Mr. Trump for every murder that takes place in the United States. There are definitely some bad actors out there who are taking out people they don't like, including journalists.
I have to just say before we go, I have to say before we go, do you remember when it was verboten to criticize the president when he was abroad? Doesn't that seem quaint now?
It used to be that politics ended at the water's edge, and I think that was a pretty good principle.
Thank you so much, John Evans, former U.S. Consul General to St. Petersburg, Russia.
Thank you.